Alright, so, as you know, I like the Kronos. Unfortunately, it has a lock that's malfunctioning on me, and it's really starting to get frustrating because I really like this thing, and if it's got a failing lock, there's nothing I would be able to do. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I'm going to remove these locks so that you guys can do it yourself. It's got these screws here on. Let's just start by removing all these screws. I'm going to do this unedited, nothing. You'll be able to see this in real time how I'm going to be doing this. So, this is probably going to be a long one, so sit back and enjoy. Make sure you have something to hold your screws, by the way, if you're doing it out here. Hopefully YouTube doesn't recognize the music that's going to be going on in the background in the farm, on the basketball court. Screws from the slide like to fall out, so I'm going to be removing the screws from the slide itself and just putting them into a tray that's right here. So 4 screws and the slides out, it looks like. 4 of the 5 screws. Get that screw out. That seems like to be the only small one that there is. Alright. Nothing on the other side. Now they work on the body screws. There's a hidden one right here when you take off the slide. So you have to be aware of that one. And make sure you're careful as to not damage your blaster. This is the Deadpool version. I'm happy to do this because, like I said, it's busted. It's got jammed 4 times in the past 2 weeks. I have to get rid of these locks, otherwise it's going to keep jamming and it's eventually going to break. And I can't have that. Since this is the first time opening up the blaster itself, it's going to be a little bit difficult at first. What you need to do is you need to sometimes give it a sharp twist, and it should unhinge from the shell. Make sure you do that, because otherwise you're going to be trying to do this if it gets stuck. And if you're not like me and have multiple screwdrivers, you're going to run into some trouble. So make sure you always have a few extra screwdrivers, and if you don't know how to open up a shell the correct way, look up Captain Xavier Monday Mod Tips. He has all kinds of different mod tips for you to use to your advantage. They've definitely helped me out, which is why I'm doing it like this. Excuse me, my bad. Excuse me, I'm texting Broke Nerfing. Alrighty. Apologies. Texting Broke Nerfing. Really cool guy. Let's see. Alright. Alright. Almost got it. The screws aren't stripped from that, so it's good. Alright, so there's more screws on this here. I already undid some of these ones up here. There's another long screw in the grip right here. So make sure you undo that. I'm going to put that one in the tray since that won't stay in the shell once I open it up. Alright. Undo the last few screws. And I'm in. And we're greeted with regular rival internals. This is the internal mechanism for the internal magazine for the Kronos, which is pretty simple. Simple and straightforward. You probably won't be able to screw this up as easily. What I'm taking out of this is this trigger lock. This looks like a priming lock, so I might take that one out. Excuse me, sorry. I don't know if I want to mess with that though. This actually works. This actually is a good thing to have. Because what I like to do is I like to double load these. I like to double load these things. So keep in mind, this here is rival internals, really powerful. It has a pretty good spring in here, so I'm not going to be messing with that. This plunger assembly is fine, I'm not going to be messing with that. That's weird. What I am taking out is this lock. That's a trigger lock. And this lock, which is the half prime lock. I am leaving in the lock where you can't double feed or something like that, because if you had this in a holster and you try to pull it out without this lock in, you'll actually pull this back and render it useless for a moment, and if you pull the trigger not realizing that, you'll slam forward and blast out the front of the blaster, which won't be good. So make sure, if not anything else, make sure you don't touch this lock unless you have really good trigger discipline with a loose slide. Now all those locks are gone. I'm going to double check everything else in here. Alright, now if these were to pop out, right, it's pretty simple to put back in. These here are little slide bits. These are underneath the slide as you pull it back when you prime it. They go in like this. I don't know how well you guys can see that. You guys can see that pretty well, I think. It goes in like this. This, if you still feel is necessary, you put the spring in here, and you test it a few times, make sure it goes in. This is also a priming indicator. This is a D-jammer, which I'm going to keep. This actually helps me double feed it if I so choose to turn it into a shotgun pistol. Now, if I so choose, I can deprime this thing. So, I'm going to put this back together. Okay. Be extra careful when trying to put this back together so you don't mess up something. I'm keeping the trigger lock in. I'm keeping the safety in. That's a very important thing for me. Now tighten up, put the screws back in, and it'll be ready. Put this in. Alright. I don't see anything else wrong with it at the moment, so it seems like it should be okay to go. You still should be careful either way. If it looks good, it may not be, so keep that in mind. Put this back on. Now let's start putting these screws back in. I do commissions on these too, just not much. There's not much I can do. I can't put a K26 in it, I don't have that. And there's not much else that can be done, but I can remove the locks. But, like I said, that's gonna be a little bit expensive commission-wise. I'm not too cheap with commissions. If you want something done, contact me. Let me know in the comments. I will give you my information to contact me on Facebook, or if it comes to it, we'll just figure it out right then and there in the comments. Keep in mind, I will not accept vintage blasters for mods. I'm just not going to. I will tell you right now. If you try and send me a vintage blaster, I will send it back. I'm not going to be dealing with that. I just don't want to be modding a vintage blaster since I don't know my way around those things. So before you ask, I'm not modding vintage blasters for commissions. Once I know what I'm doing, I'll do commissions for I'll do vintage blasters and commissions for upwards to probably $40. Be aware of your surroundings too. If you have modded your Chronos, you are now responsible for any injuries you cause. If you shoot someone with it afterwards and you put a K26 in and it hurts them, puts them in a hospital, because say it hit so hard that it broke skin, or they didn't have eye protection on and you didn't know about it and it gets them in the eye and they lose their eye, you're responsible for that. So please be aware of what you do with this after you modify it. This thing is no joke. It is extremely powerful. I've just taken, and if you had followed this guide step by step, you would now have just taken out 2 main safeties that keep you from hurting someone around you. If you're not careful, you'll hurt someone, and I'm not going to be responsible for it. You break your blaster, I'm not responsible. It's your responsibility if you want to modify your blaster and make it do what you want it to do. You do follow Captain Xavier's guide and turn it into a shotgun. He's not responsible if your blaster breaks. Remember that, please. Okay? You can now deprime your blaster. Mod guide done. These are the locks you remove. Do you have any questions? Let me know in the comments below. If you would like to commission me, let me know, and we can work out a deal. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.